Hello everyone, and welcome to Attunement Tarot. My name is Robin, and I will be doing a reading, pick a pile reading for everybody. And so I cleared the space with some incense there, and basically I'll introduce the three piles to you. If you're drawn to more than one pile, feel free to watch more than one reading. That's just fine. But whichever one you're drawn to, this is going to be your message for the second quarter of 2025. This is for the months of April, May, and June. So for our first pile, we have this black-tipped Lemurian. And the Tarot of the Abyss by Tourian. The second pile is a Tiger's Eye heart. And that is with the Pagan Tarot. Let's see here. I know it's called. What's this called here? Pagan Netherworlds Tarot. Okay. All right, and then the third pile is Chrysocolla. And this is the Enchantment Tarot, or the Enchanted Forest Tarot. So go ahead and pick your pile, and I will see you at your reading. Hello, pile one. If you picked the black-tipped Lemurian crystal and the Abyss Tarot, or Tarot of the Abyss by Tourian, this is your reading. Okay, so like I had told you in the intro, we're going to be looking into the second quarter of 2025. Okay. So for April, May, and June. Okay. I'd like to invite Spirit in with so much gratitude and respectfully request a message for pile number one. Please and thank you, Spirit. Okay, so this is your current energy for this second quarter. We have, whoopsie, sorry about that, April, May, and June. Okay. Bottom of the deck energy, we have the Six of Swords. So you very well could be leaving some sort of situation at this time. Okay, that's a possibility. Moving away from something that is you're wanting to just get peace from. And I feel like that could be the underlying energy, and your goal is the Ten of Cups, wanting to move toward happiness, stability, fulfillment, community, all of the things. And it would appear here that this figure is pulling this person with them, like maybe like, come with me, you know? And as we get into the reading, we'll see whether or not that is part of what you are leaving. You could be within a push-pull dynamic with somebody, and that's what you're wanting to move away from for the ultimate goal of fulfillment, emotional fulfillment, connection, love, family, all of those things. Okay, so let's get into it here. For the month of April, we have the Five of Wands. That's an element of disagreement. Say, you know, folks are at odds with how to go about doing a thing. You may have a similar end goal in mind, but ultimately people are at odds. This can also be an internal struggle. You individually yourself could have thought about different ways to go about obtaining a goal. Could be this Ten of Cups, and the different ways in which you've thought about doing that, the actions can be in contradiction to one another. So this can represent internal struggle or in a struggle within a group. It can also even be read as folks who are in your orbit might have different ideas and giving advice about what you should be doing here, okay? So let's go ahead and look into the month of April with the Five of Wands. Spirit, why is the Five of Wands here for April? Now, if any of you think that I take too long to shuffle, that's just fine. I understand that. And that is a part of my process with regard to not just wanting the cards to be shuffled, but it is a feeling and it's an auditory process for me as well, just so you know. It's when I know that I'm ready to stop shuffling. It's a feeling, okay? And that's how I am, how I do it as a reader. Let's see here. Okay, so Five of Wands is clarified by the Five of Swords, the Devil, and the Nine of Swords. Wow, yeah. So there has been a lot of worry, sleepless nights going into this internal struggle. With these cards here, I get the sense that this Five of Wands has been an internal struggle. There definitely could have been other folks influencing that for sure, but this is a very internally disturbed energy right here. A lot of anxiety, sleepless nights, worry, maybe even feelings of guilt on some level, okay? We have also the Five of Swords and the Devil. So essentially there's internal struggle and external struggle, conflict and strife. And right here in the middle is the Devil. So this tells me that this is a dynamic that has been ongoing, okay? This is a dynamic that has been ongoing. I feel like a long history with this. Now, if you haven't been with the same person, because the way that I read these cards over here in the beginning, this could be a dynamic that you realize that plays out between you and a significant other kind of over and over. That's one way to read this energy. And this could just be a dynamic that had been very strong and present with one particular person that you are in the midst of moving away from here, okay? You tried to get this person to go with you. Maybe you tried to get them to quote unquote change or do things differently. Basically just trying to save the relationship by lining up goals and values and ways of being with one another to help you both feel loved and nurtured and listened to and heard and cared for and all of those things, like wanting something healthy ultimately, okay? But this energy right here, I mean, I do believe that you realize it's far too much. And whenever it's one of these things where you can't force a square peg in a round hole, basically. It's like maybe it worked at some point, which is how it all came together to begin with, but essentially to keep it going was just a struggle. And with the devil, there's definitely other things at play. Absolutely. Could be addictions, could be, even self-programming that just take too much energy away from what you're trying to create. I really hope that makes sense. Codependency, and a lot of times these dynamics don't come from the person you're with or from yourself. It's a way in which these dynamics play out. You're both acting it out, you're both recapitulating something from the past, because the devil energies run deep. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at the month of May. We have the world, which makes sense to me. The world is ending a cycle, wrapping something up. This is definitely dovetailing on the Six of Swords and wanting to come away from this very heavy energy. Okay. Spirit, why is the world here? Can we have more insight into the world, please? For some reason, I had to look at that again because it like when I first saw it, I thought it was the Two of Wands. Maybe it's because it's like this. I don't know. Queen of Wands, Four of Cups, Ten of Wands. Yeah, the energy that's influencing the world, which is wrapping up this cycle, bringing it to a close, putting a bow on it. Clearly, this has been heavy. This has been a burdensome experience. Dealing with this, continuing to deal with this is a burden. However, there has to have been some reward in here somewhere at some point along the way. Otherwise, you wouldn't have put up with it for so long. A lot of times, the Ten of Wands can make us feel as though we needed to be all things to all people or all things to one person. It could be, a labor of love as well. Like, if I just keep suffering, then I'll get to the point. I'll get to the mountaintop, and in a lot of cases it can be that way. And in some cases it isn't. That could be an illusion. And I think with the Ten of Wands underneath the Nine of Swords here, that there is a lot of mental energy going into this continued effort. Okay? A lot of this energy is driving this continued effort. So perhaps guilt, anxiety, shame, worry, what have you. Okay, feeling like you have to do it. The Four of Cups right here in the middle just speaks to the dissatisfaction. You see the Three Cups down here and this one cup. Typically this is the hand of fate handing you this cup, but in this case we see the cup, the one cup, which is the Ace, being poured out. This tells me it's like there's no more love here. It's just been very, very draining and has been very, very depleting, and it's sad. Like, this is really sad. And with the Queen of Wands, you could be feeling quite pissed in your private time, or this could represent the person. See, because we have the Queen of Wands right underneath the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is like strong words being spoken. We also see, this is so profound. Look at Five of Swords. This person is looking at the trapped butterfly inside of the jar. Okay. This butterfly is restricted. It's not growing. It's not flying. It's not experiencing. This butterfly is being kept all for the sake, all for this one person. And this is a conflictual dynamic, very possessive, not enabling, not even not enabling, it's hindering another person's growth and just even another person's ability to live. Because if you're a butterfly, what's the main thing that you do? You fly, right? You fly. And if you can't fly, then what kind of life ever you're living? It's a prison, you know. And so this Queen of Wands energy here, you could read it one of two ways. It can belong to this person that identifies with the butterfly, of wanting to break out, break free, you know, just really get back in touch with oneself and focus one's own creative sacral energies, fire energies on creative pursuits, new goals, new dreams, aspirations. You see that here. They're wearing this headdress, or like there's somewhat of a crown, but it's shining from the third eye. So this is like consciousness raising. A part of this person's life, you know, that's represented by the butterfly here is spiritual ascension. Okay. And really nurturing one's own fire, one's own goals and dreams. And the longer they're kept in a jar, the more upset they can feel. You know, the Queen of Wands can also remind us of how angry the situation has made us. Okay. And I said that there were one of two ways to read this energy. Another way to read this energy is that there is a sexual component, you know, perhaps, because I see this as maybe the one positive card, this and this, and this, and this, because both of these are departure energies, Six of Swords and the World. Those are wrapping up and departing. Ten of Cups and Queen of Wands is very passionate and very loving. So perhaps what has also been a component that has kept this here has been like, oh, well, maybe somebody was very attractive, or somebody was very, like, you know, a very skilled and giving lover. Who knows, you know? There's something about that. Could be that maybe someone was keeping another person all to themselves because they had a trophy, right? They had a trophy partner, and they're like, yeah, I need to keep you here in this little jar, because just like a butterfly is very beautiful and very colorful, you know, this Queen of Wands is also commonly very beautiful, has a very commanding presence, and like garners attention. And it doesn't mean that like everybody is a threat. It just means that rightfully so, like they have a magneticism about them. And when somebody is that magnetic, when they're with another person, if that person is deeply insecure, they're going to try to put them in a jar there, right? Okay, April, May, June. So this is like current right here with this May energy. Ultimately, I see the month of May as being the month where this wraps up. This is the month where this really does, this could be the reflection period of what one has gone through, and then the re-emerging period of what one can now turn their attentions toward, okay? In the month of May. Okay, so June is the Seven of Cups. Let's go ahead and look at June. Spirit, can you tell me why the Seven of Cups is here for June? The Fool, yes. So many options. There's all kinds of things to choose from. There can also be a very dreamy, like a dreaminess about it, but the Fool, brand new beginning. The World, to set off in May, wrapping it up, putting a bow on it. June, the Fool, brand new cycle. Don't you just love tarot? I absolutely love tarot because it's like the story just unfolds itself, and it really does, come together. It's beautiful. All right. So the Seven of Cups, there's plenty of things to choose from. And when there's plenty of things to choose from, there can also be feelings of overwhelm. If you're the butterfly and you're just now released, okay, it's like, yay, the Fool energy, like, oh, and then it's like, oh my gosh, like, wow, I haven't been able to do anything for so long, like, what do I do? Like, so there could even be a feeling of not really knowing what to do with oneself as well. It's like, yeah, well, there's so many things to choose from and what you want to experience emotionally. There's also emotional fragmentation with it all. Given that this just ended and this was very deeply painful, and I might even say psychologically abusive, though it doesn't have to, take it as it resonates, okay? If it's your story, it's your story. If it isn't, don't force it. But what I'm saying is, coming away from that, it's not like, it's like clear cut, everything's cool. It's like there's a residual, there's an echo here. And even if you never had anything to do with this person again, the impact of the energy and the impact of all this energy and all this energy and dealing with this and being stuck in here, it is completely destabilizing. And so now in the month of June, you're on your way, which is wonderful. You're out of the jar, okay? And give yourself grace for when you feel cloudy headed. Give yourself grace. And let yourself know, give yourself permission to not have to choose, to not put pressure on yourself to do all the things or bite off more than you can chew or anything else. It's like, of course you're going to probably look back on this and say, oh gosh, I so wanted so badly to have this person, come with and be able to live here in this beautiful sunny place, but they just couldn't. It almost looks like a tug of war, they just couldn't, right? They didn't have they were limited. Okay? And so here, you're obviously going to have a lot of feelings about that. Let yourself cry about it. Let yourself get mad about it. Let yourself create about it, because we have the Fool, the Empress, and the Wise One. Oh my gosh. 3 majors. And that is beautiful, because the thing is, when we see especially very positive majors, that speaks to growth and expansion, the Empress, the raising of one's vibration and really digging into one's own spirituality. This could even be a period of time where you link up with a guru type person, a mentor, a friend, a therapist, a teacher, whatever the case may be. But this is about getting back in touch with your creativity, yourself, and your spirituality. It's all wrapped into one. I feel like the month of June for you, pile number 1, is going to be deeply healing. Deeply healing. It's so beautiful. And there's double Taurus energy here too. The Empress is Taurus and Libra. Venus is the planet, and then the Hierophant is Taurus as well. The Fool is Aries and Virgo energy because of Mercury, I think. Unless that's the Magician. But the Fool, I associate that with Aries because it's the beginning of the zodiac. But be that as it may, this is beautiful. So much growth and expansion. And look at this. Here the person is in the month of May. They're alone. The fire, it's like they're just trying to get the fire started. You see the smoke. You see the kindling. It's like the flames are quite low, and it's like the eyes are closed. The third eye is trying to open. There's like dark woods around her, and it's like she's trying to resurrect this internal fire. And here it's like, okay, yeah, community. There's been a calling in of community with the 10 of Cups, and in that community, the fires are healthier. Like the fire is more bountiful. There's a person here, an elder perhaps, who can be of assistance. You also have friends or something. You have community that are really going to be essential into having this light. You know, breathe more breath into this fire to make it really come to life. You see what I mean by that? And I love how how the crowns almost look the same. There's like a fanning out here and like a fanning out right here, right? It's like an expansion of consciousness there. The crown. That's beautiful. Yeah, pile number 1. It's been a doozy. It has been a doozy, but I do see June as being a deeply healing month for you, and can be emotionally, just emotional, you know, and in those times, just accept, like, be with it. Okay, so that's what I have for you for the tarot portion. I'm going to go ahead and pick a couple of oracle cards. I'm going to pick from the language of letting. I think this may be the language of letting go, or this might be the surrender. Yeah, this is the language of letting go. Let's go ahead and read from this one. Okay, getting calm. Getting calm. Today I will, sorry about the shakiness. Today I will stop searching for happiness outside myself. If I'm in a frenzied state, I'll get calm, get back on track, and remember that the key to happiness is inside me. Often, after I've become peaceful and accepting, what I want comes to me with ease. That's the Empress energy. Step into your receptive energy here. Okay, receptive energy. That's beautiful. All right, let's give you some flowers. You deserve some flowers. We got the soul, I think it's called soul remedy or plant remedy. I haven't read in so long I forget the names of my oracle decks here. Soulflower remedy. Plant spirit. Something like that. I'll link it down in the notes. I always do that. Okay. Lavender, restoration. Lavender's restorative and purifying energy and aroma calms and uplifts your mind and body, easing feelings of stress and agitation from your earthly distractions and rejuvenating your soul so that you can truly feel and radiate inner peace and harmony. Lovely. There's so many uses for lavender, but it just made me think of like taking a bath or something with lavender oils in it, you know. Okay, so as far as zodiac signs, we have Capricorn, any air sign essentially. Taurus, Aries, Sagittarius. Those are the strong ones coming through. Perhaps some Virgo as well, Libra. Okay, pile number one, that is what I have for you. Thank you so much. I will see you next time. Okay, bye. Hello, pile 2. If you picked the Pagan Netherworlds Tarot and the Tiger's Eye Heart, this is your reading. So let's get started. So we are going to look at the second set, basically the second quarter of 2025 here. So this will be a reading for April, May, and June. Okay. I'd like to invite Spirit in at this time with so much gratitude and respectfully request a message for pile number 2 for their greatest and highest good at this time. Please and thank you, Spirit. Whoops. Page of Pentacles wanted to pop out. Okay, yes. Your overall energy for this second quarter here of 2025, pile number 2, is the Ace of Wands. Okay, put your little stone right there. April is the 2 of Pentacles. May, the Empress. And that's really nice because May is Taurus season. And the Empress is the Taurus card, okay? And then the High Priestess. Very nice. You could also have some Libra in your chart, or perhaps dealing with a Libra. Bottom of the deck, Sun energy. Heck yes. Pile number 2. You got plans. Right underneath the sun, there was the moon. That's really interesting. Okay. Wow, you are fired up. Pile number 2. This is really, really good. So, essentially, you are seizing opportunities. You're feeling very inspired, going for what you want. You could even be really feeling that, you know, Beltane energy, maybe even feeling a bit randy, and, you know, just going out and like really pursuing your goals with that like thrust energy, okay? Now, let's see. April, the month of April. There was some things you could have been feeling quite busy in the month of April, okay? I know that April was quite intense for a lot of us because of all kinds of celestial events. However, there's a lot of juggling there for you. And so let us look into April. Three of Wands, the Chariot, and the Knight of Wands. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, the month of April, it was moving forward. It was, you know, having a goal in mind here. Now, the Three of Wands is a gateway. You can either wait for the opportunity to come your way, or you could step through the gateway and make your opportunity happen, all right? But this is putting your plans into action, and also also like needing that special ingredient. It's as if it's kind of like an initiation. It's, you know, once you have the certain thing, whether it be your own confidence to step forward, or even something from someone else, or an opportunity, or whatever it is, it's there. It is. You're on your way. Like you're into the next phase. You have what it takes to make it happen. With the Three of Wands here, I get the sense that in the month of April there could have been something you were kind of going back and forth on. Maybe you had been considering a couple of options. Could have been main job and a side hustle, okay, with regard to your money, your coin. And then the opportunity came along where you could quit that job and really pursue your creative endeavors. That's just an example. But in the month of April, we did see you moving forward. This is Cancer energy here with the Chariot, okay? This is coming up in summer. So this can tell us that whatever it is, like whatever you initiated, whatever you moved toward, right? Stepping through the gateway and doing so with a lot of energy, drive, and inspiration, could even really come to fruition in July, late June, July, okay? But whatever it is, it's like you're moving forward with, you are moving forward toward it with gusto, okay? Very inspired, beautiful. It all totally lines up here for you. I get the sense that this could have to do with some sort of creative endeavor, because we have the Empress in the month of May. Now, the Empress is very nurturing, growth, expansion, and it's also very receptive. Where this is very much go get it energy, this is very receptive. So there could have been some things you needed to do in the month of April to invest your time and energy so that you could kind of pull back a little bit in May and simply receive, right? Like you're seeing the rewards of what energy you put into it. All right, that's a possibility here, but we'll go ahead and we'll look further. I do love how the sun was at the bottom of the deck, because That's the happiest card in the tarot. Plus, it with the sun, it just illuminates everything. You could see everything clearly, and you have a lot of like, it's basically being blasted with growth energy here. Pile number 2. This is like, it's really on fire, so to speak. So much Wands energy, okay, and summer energy. Okay, Spirit, what? Tell us more about the Empress here, Spirit, please and thank you. Seven of Swords, some element of strategy. Then we have the Ace of Pentacles and the Six of Wands. Okay, so this tracks, right? This totally tracks, because in April, there's 2 Pentacles. In May, there's 1, okay? There's been some strategy that has been needed in order to have the one opportunity. Really pursue and plant the one seed, and already you're reaping the rewards. This is a victory for you, pile number 2. There's something with regard to your creative endeavors and your goals. Your creativity is tied to your money making. Your creativity, this is a passion project. All right. This is interesting energy. I get the sense that there was, I get the sense that maybe you needed to keep your intentions or your goals or your endeavor maybe close to the vest before you can fully launch it, before you can bring attention to it, before you could be seen. Because this is very much being seen energy right here, and this is hiding energy. So you have hiding and being seen on either side of this brand new beginning in a tangible endeavor. Okay. It kind of reminds me of that old kind of saying, like, don't tell everybody your cool new idea unless you want to jinx yourself or something, you know? It's kind of like I think you have felt like you had to do that, especially more in the month of April, and now May. It's like, yeah, it's kind of like your coming out party. The strategy paid off here. And yet with the High Priestess in June, there's still a little bit of silence. There's still a little bit of quiet. But that's just it. The High Priestess and the Empress are both very powerful arcana with regard to receptivity and emotions and intuition. We have earth energy with water energy here. There's definitely a stepping into your power and being rewarded. Being rewarded. You're listening to your intuition in the month of June. It's kind of like having the internal drive, but holding back just a touch. Then coming out, planting it, really making the moves. And then what else is here in June? There could be a little bit more of a pulling back energy. A little bit more of a going inward. Spirit, can you tell us a little bit more about the High Priestess? There could have been a call for you to get in touch with your, I mean, when it comes to creativity, you're really calling on that internal part of yourself, your dreams, your psyche, your emotions, right? A lot of really good art comes from the soul, and that's what the word psyche is for. It's translated, it's the soul. Okay. I get the sense that you use a lot of yourself in this endeavor, whether it be a spiritual practice, something creative. You could be an artist. You could even be a tarot reader or a spiritual guide or even a therapist. Let's see if the Hierophant pops out. Okay. Nine of Swords, 10 of Cups, 6 of Cups. Something from the past or some sort of old, this could be a sibling, family member, an old soul bond. Could even be nostalgia. Something happens in the month of June that takes you inward. It could be like something new that you learn about yourself or another person, perhaps somebody in your family or your community, that gets you kind of worried. There's a challenge. There's like a kind of like a psychic kind of challenge. And I get the sense that you're going to be having to use your intuition a lot with regard to how to navigate the situation. There could be a part of you that's worrying a little bit, maybe stressing about what was done here, whatever strategy had been employed here to make this ace happen and to get some sort of recognition. Yeah, this is very interesting energy. This entire reading, this is very much a solo journey until we get here. And like family comes into the mix, or an old friend, old soul bond comes into the mix. Another way to read this is that, you were pursuing something with so much passion, very much focused on what you wanted to create and grow, and then getting attention for that. And then maybe coming together with the community and creating relationships with people that you feel like you've known forever. That's another way to read this energy. People who gave you attention ended up kind of moving past that superficial stranger appreciation stage and really becoming somebody that you see within your circle for a long time. And this is the maypole here. This could have shown itself in the month of May, right? This 9 of Swords. I think in the month of June, you may struggle a little bit between your fears and your intuition, and really asking yourself, what's the difference between these things? How do I know when my intuition is speaking to me over how I know the fear is speaking to me? And that's a very common question. It's a very common experience for everybody at different times. You could be a highly intuitive person and still wonder if fearful based thoughts are coming through as intuitive hits. One of the things that I have discovered, even myself, right, when this kind of thing happens, because I've struggled with that as well at times, okay? This, I feel, is how you know the difference. The fears will be loud and the intuition will be more calm, more neutral. And when the intuition happens, you don't have strong feelings about it one way or the other. It hits you as if it was just something you know, as if someone's telling you, that candle is white. Okay, yeah, totally. It's just one of those things, like, it's very, it's like the information comes in and there is a calm receptivity to the message, and it feels like inner knowing. Whereas fear is like, oh, it has like this kind of like anxious element to it. It's a fearful thought, So that's how you can tell the difference. Fear will yell when like intuition will simply whisper or state. Okay. Pile number 2. This is very interesting reading. It feels very positive. It feels like a period of growth for sure. Like strides are being taken, new things are being discovered about yourself, and new seeds are being planted for your success. There's new inspiration, things are growing, things are moving. It's very like it's just very bright and very it's very bright, it's very warm, it's very driven, it's like fresh, it's inspiring. I'm just getting like a big feeling about summertime, like it just has summer vibes all over it. And then but like June, there's like some worry that creeps in, and I don't really know what that's about, but if that sounds like it may be your story with regard to maybe this is someone returning from somewhere else, because this is also a return card. This right here, the return of somebody that you've known. Some readers say that this could sound, somebody you knew in a past life. Okay, yeah, that's a possibility too, sure. For sure. I mean, anything's possible, but this is also return energy. Okay. Could pop up unexpectedly. There could have been a very wonderful, you could have a lot of lovely memories with this person, but then there's something about them showing up now that might give you pause. It feels as though there may be questions about whether or not you could trust this person coming back out of the blue at this time. What does it mean? Why are they here? You know what I'm saying? What's this about? It's very independent, self-driven, self-focused energy, and then this kind of throws a little bit of an energetic wrench in your works, where then you're being asked to go inward. So, I'm going to leave it there for the tarot. Okay? I think you should tune in, pile number 2, for quarter 3, which will be July, August, September. Okay, so maybe we'll have more insight into this then. Let us get, I'm gonna pick another oracle, a different kind of oracle. Let me just give you the flower remedy one first. And then I think I'm going to go grab my animal deck. I don't see it in here. I'll have to go grab it. Velvet Leaf, Self-Love. Velvet Leaf softly reminds you of your true nature, pure love. No matter what earthly chaos, negativity, or suffering you have faced, Velvet Leaf wants you to remember that you are a magnificent, pure expression of divine love made manifest in human form. You are love itself. Love yourself. You are loved. Okay. All right, let me go grab that animal deck. I'll be right back. Okay, let's see what this deck has for us. Orca Whale, Adventure. Dare to do things differently. Sing your wild song. Manifest your travel dreams. Attempt the great journey with confidence. Be loyal. Friends and family are your treasures. Be brave. You are more powerful than you know. That really is giving me this kind of vibe over here for sure that we talked about. Okay, pile number 2, that is what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed your reading, and I will see you on the next one. Bye. Hello, pile 3. If you picked the Chrysocolla stone and the Enchanted Forest Tarot, this is your reading. Pardon the squeakiness of my chair. Okay, pile number 3. We are going to be looking into the 3 months of the second quarter of 2025 for you. So April, May, and June. We'll pull a card for your overall energy at this time and read the months for you. I'd like to invite Spirit in at this time with so much gratitude and respectfully request a message for pile number 3 for their greatest and highest good. Please and thank you, Spirit. Okay. I believe that this is the the Knight of Wands here for your overall energy. King of Swords for April, Six of Cups for May, and the Moon for June. Bottom of the deck energy, we have the Nine of Swords. That has come out for every pile, the Nine of Swords. And it makes sense because we've just really have been dealing with some heavy-duty celestial energies for a little while, but that is going to shift very soon in the month of June when Jupiter moves into Cancer. Okay. Yeah, we definitely had Saturn moved into Aries recently, and that was pretty heavy-duty for sure. A lot of crankiness, a lot of things going topsy-turvy. Okay. All right. So with this energy so far, it appears that right now with the Knight of Wands and the Nine of Swords, there could be conflict within you about wanting to pursue the things that you want to pursue, feeling very inspired and just kind of like fire of fire, right? Just like going for it. But then you could be holding yourself back a little bit or have a lot of worries about what that would look like. Would you achieve it? If you did, what then? You know, it just kind of, there could be some little bit of going back and forth for you. So in the month of April, we have the King of Swords, and we're going to look into that energy a little bit more. This would say that there's a lot of mind over matter, head over heart energy, very discerning in the month of April. Maybe even making some very big decisions, setting some very clear and firm boundaries. But we'll go ahead and see. Spirit, can you tell us more about the King of Swords for April? Knight of Swords, King of Swords to the Knight of Swords. So you may have had some kind of confidence and were like, I'm about to set these boundaries, and then you kind of like downgraded a little bit, or maybe even downgraded in terms of your approach. So say you had all like the very steady mind about it all, and you're like, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set this boundary, and I'm going to be clear, and I'm going to try to really have it come across in a very diplomatic way, but yet clear. And then you get to the point and you just kind of maybe went off. You know, like maybe your temper got the best of you and you were like saying the things and it came out maybe not as diplomatic or as mature as you would have liked. So yeah, then we have Six of Pentacles and Two of Wands. So, you know, there was some sort of planning, right? There's some sort of planning in the month of April. And I get the sense you were dealing with another person, whether or not you were on the giving or the receiving end of this relationship, whatever it was or whatever it is. I get the sense you may have been the giver here because of this king energy. So maybe you were like giving and giving, and then you were just kind of starting to burn out by giving, and you were trying to set some boundaries around you know, your reserves and your time and your energy, because you know, with the Six of Pentacles, we could really, I mean, it is an invitation from Spirit for us to stay mindful about our time and energy and resources. Yes, we can give, yes, we can receive, you know, depending on where we stand. But if you're in the giving position, it's a reminder that says, take stock of what is left for you so that you don't burn yourself out. Okay. And with this energy here, and they're laying down and like looking pretty exhausted with all these little bunnies just wanting to feed off of them, you know, I get the sense you may have been the giver in this situation, and it was a bit much in the month of April. You gave a lot of yourself in the month of April. And you know, maybe you started off feeling like, okay, well, this is for the greater good. I got to stay the course. And then you maybe just started to get pissed and defensive about having been given so much and giving out of so much of yourself. So then, you know, towards the end of April, it's like you find yourself in the planning phase of like kind of coming down to a crossroads, right? Like, have to pick one of two things. This does kind of give me a I'm getting burnt out at my job kind of vibe. That's just what came up for me here. So there's some planning here. Okay. Spirit, can you tell me about the month of May? So for the Six of Cups, we have the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands, and the Eight of Swords. So yeah, I feel like this Two of Wands energy and making plans, and really comes down to one thing or the other, has you maybe even reminiscent about what good things have happened here. Okay, because the Six of Coins is a reciprocal relationship. It is a agreed upon role. Okay, it's almost like a contract, and maybe even an unspoken contract, but everybody has they have their role in it. Okay, and so you're getting down to planning and making different choices, considering it, looking back on it, reviewing it, and then you have these new opportunities right here. Brand new opportunity in the tangible realm of your life and brand new inspiration. This says to me of like maybe wanting to feel inspired underneath this Six of Pentacles and this burnt out energy. A lot of times when we begin to feel burnt out in one place, that gives us the inspiration to try to plant a new seed somewhere else. Okay. And with that, there can be a lot of worrisome feelings because there has been good things about this in the past, right? Perhaps you have a lot of really great relationships in this context. But it's like these new aces coming your way. It's something that I feel like is wanted and in some level chosen, at least if not tangibly or physically, then energetically. But yet when it comes your way, it brings worrisome energy. Now with the Eight of Swords, this is something that is it has definitely more of a flavor of being self-imposed, okay? Because yes, you could worry, but in a way, there's an element of borrowing trouble. You know, do you ever hear that phrase, borrow trouble? You don't have to borrow trouble about worrying, you know, by worrying about things that haven't yet come to pass, or, you know, it's like maybe what if this, what if that, you know, that's the kind of vibe here. Okay. It looks like something that's come your way. There's opportunities, and now that the opportunities are here, there is worry about whether or not you should take them, even though it would appear to me that energetically you called them in, most definitely. And then June, we have the moon. So more clarity, except not really. Okay, so let's go ahead and look into June. In a way, I feel like you had more clarity up here. And even overall right now, you're in Knight of Wands energy. But it's a competition, like I had said in the outset, between wanting to go for what you're wanting to go for and then worrying about whether or not you can go for it. Like what I feel, I get the sense that you might be thinking a bit too much about how it might impact other people. And that's not, you know, that's not a bad thing, but you definitely don't want it to come at a cost of your own happiness here, right? Or come at a cost of your own health and wellness and your stability and your future and what you want for yourself and your personal growth, okay? So now in June, we have the moon, the 8 of pentacles, the 2 of swords, and the 5 of cups. Okay, yeah. There's fears around making a decision because of what you stand to lose. You know, you do have the mastery and the skill, okay? Whatever it is that you're wanting to, like, I'm definitely just like, I can't help it. I'm getting like wanting to leave one job and get another job. Like, that's the vibe here. But you are very, very skilled, okay? You're very skilled and you're inspired. I get the sense that your role at your current place is highly regarded. I get the sense that you might even be in a position of management. Okay? Where it's like if you leave, there's a lot of worries about you leaving with the 8 of swords, the 9 of swords, the 2 of swords, you know, and then the 5 of cups comes at the end here. I get the sense that you energetically called in this opportunity, but yet once it showed up, it made you scared and worried because how's it going to make other people feel? And there's also a thing of like, yeah, it could make you feel really sad too. I mean, this could have been a place or a space that you occupied for quite some time. You very well may even get so much like soul satisfaction and pleasure from knowing that you're the meaningful work that you do. Okay? The meaningful work that you do here. Your role is so important, and not just your role, but the work has meaning. It's very near and dear to your heart, but it definitely burns you out. It can burn you out big time. And so when it comes to the month of June, you know, you've been thinking about this for quite some time, and right here in the middle, Ace of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, do you or don't you with the 2 of Swords. And the thing is, with the 2 of Swords, The Two of Swords is traditionally depicted by somebody who has two swords kind of crossed over their chest, right? Therefore, they're kind of blocking their heart chakra, and they're also wearing a pretty loose blindfold, which I feel like resonates a bit with the Eight of Swords as well, because the Eight of Swords also has this loose blindfold imagery. And so there's an energy around it where it's like, you know what you know. You don't need any more evidence. You don't need another sign to tell you what you already know. If anything, by the time you're in the Two of Swords energy, you're really kind of in a state of denial or willful blindness, and any kind of simmering or treading water is of your own making, to be fair. It really is. And so you got to, it is an indecision, it's an indecisive place to occupy. And the thing is, you can be there for as long as you can be there. I mean, whatever. It's kind of like, be there or don't be there. It's up to you, right? But there is a lot of fears around this decision that you need to make around your work. And it's not easy. It's not easy. You know that you're good at what you do, pile number 3. You know that you have a lot to offer, but you also know that you're ready for a change because you're pretty exhausted. And with the moon here, that's a strong invitation to pay attention to your dreams. You pay attention to your psyche. What does your inner quiet voice tell you? Like, what do you know is your inner truth? Because, you know, there are a lot of us, it's like, yeah, you know what your higher mind is saying, you know what your inner truth is saying. And then you could be like, no, it's not that, or whatever, you know. It's like we talk ourselves out of things, and it's only when we find ourselves in this spot here where we're finally fired up again to take action on it. But it just keeps happening, right? Now with the moon, that's a Pisces card and a Cancer card. So perhaps there will be some movement by Cancer season, okay, which is July, late June, July. Okay. And beyond that, I don't see any other majors. The moon is your only major here. You have 2 aces. This is work and indecision and worry. You have 2 of Swords and 2 of Wands. This is of 2 minds about a situation, and then, you know, crossroads energy. You have a lot of fond memories of this place. But there is a very inspired part of you that wants to manifest something else. And you're afraid to give yourself that gift, it would appear. However, you do have your skills on your side, and you do have time. You're all right. Like, you don't have to rush, but I feel like when you get to this point, I get the sense, I bet you the Wheel of Fortune would pop out at some point. You know, we have the Empress at the bottom of the deck. So you could really be thinking about how this might affect your family. There could even be a sense that this place and these people that you deal with do have a family vibe, and that you might feel like you would leave them behind if you left. Something along those lines. But I think in the month of June, there's going to be a lot more meditation, a lot more introspection around this. And by the time July rolls around, you might have a little bit more clarity, and maybe even a little bit more, like, your clarity will align with your inspiration, because that's the other thing that I'm seeing. Whenever you feel inspired, is when you are in an exhausted state. And this isn't like, I'm inspired. This is like, oh my God, I'm so done. Kind of like, I need to do something else, you know? And so I feel like if you give yourself some space, maybe even invest some time and energy into some creative pursuits as well, that can give you more clarity, and that can really help align your energies to where your Knight of Wands energy is in alignment with your King of Swords energy and your Eight of Pentacles, to where then you can, you know, make that decision and it can feel grounded and you can feel good about it, because you will be fully feeling okay in and of yourself to step into your power and live in alignment with your inner truth around this situation and make the decisions that will match how you feel. Okay? So that's going to be it for the tarot, and I'm going to go ahead and pull. I would really love to pull a surrender card, but I looked for that and I couldn't find it. Let me see if it's in here. Power of surrender. Or no, it was like the language of letting go. No, that's the other one that I had. Nay, that's a tarot deck. Okay, so we're gonna do the language of letting go, and then I'll pull all three. I'll do animal and flowers. Today I will ask my higher power to send me his best, and I will trust that all that is good will come to me. I will remember that sometimes we don't get what we want because God has something infinitely better in store for us. Trusting God, it says. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I think there has to be a lot of trust in your higher power, and in your just trusting in the fact that, you know, God has your back, essentially. And that, I think, is very helpful when we're at crossroads energy. Chamomile, stability. Even on a cloudy day, the sun is shining. It is just obscured. Chamomile reminds you that even when faced with challenges and difficulties, your soul's warmth, serenity, and equanimity is always present within, soothing and calming, helping you to weather any storm in a relaxed, harmonious state. Very nice. I think that's really, I think that fits really well with the situation. Kind of get like a nervous system overdrive, kind of highs and lows, kind of nervous system roller coaster with this reading. Coyote, revealer of truth. Don't take things too seriously. Make time to play. Great wisdom comes from laughing at your own folly. Look out for the traps and tricks of life and learn from them. Very nice. Okay, pile 3, that is all that I have for you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.